So anyhow, here it goes. Oh, yeah, and we don't write about it. All right, please. It's the only, I mean, you can write anything else, like I'm an idiot and all the other stuff. Just don't write about my teeth. Here we go.
It's been a pretty good few days for you. How was the team kind of reacted to this sudden turn?
Well, first of all, it's very early in the year, and we played 2 good games on the road, and we need to keep that. We want to make Pinnacle Bank Arena the vault like it was year one, quite frankly, and we haven't done that as well since. And that's really kind of its own goal. And really, we've concentrated more on that than we have being 2-0 in the league because it's such a long season. And this, every team you look at, there's still like 7 teams ahead of us in the RPI, and we're like 46.
Is it able to pinpoint why the play on the road seems to be a little bit better than play at home?
There's always distractions at home. We're a young team, so a lot of times, sometimes when you are with them more often, like at night or for dinner, whatever, maybe their mindset's a little different. It's hard to tell.
Did you said on your radio show, I think, about a black shirt mentality? I know it was a reference.
Black shirt basketball?
I know it was a reference to maybe the black jerseys, but is there more symbolism to it than just the jersey?
No, it's a black shirt football. It's like they were great defensively, right? I mean, the black shirt, the idea of wearing your black shirt is that you are a special defensive player with a certain mentality that sets your team apart from anybody else. And quite frankly, why not adopt the same idea basketball-wise?
Are you talking for the entire team, or just defensively, or just the mentality in general?
The mentality of our team defensively.
What do you like that your team's doing offensively maybe differently than a couple weeks ago? Is there anything different, or are they just executing?
We're still turning it over too much, but we've been okay. The thing I like is at the end of the game, our 2 bigs have really been aggressive on the offensive glass. So anytime we get a shot up that doesn't go in, I really feel good. Like we had a couple things where we told Glenn, like on this play, you have to shoot it, because Glenn had not shot the ball a couple times because he didn't know. He goes, well, I might miss. And when we showed him on tape where the 2 bigs were, they're like, dude, we have this. We have your back. Go ahead and miss it. And we're all for it, And so I think the guys are starting to understand each other and how one guy can pick another guy up, and that, we're going to Glenn on an isolation play, but we've got the miss covered. But it only comes with a lot of work out of like Michael, Edward, and those guys. So I've just been really proud of them that way.
Tim, when you always hear coaches say, well, we have a young team, there's bound to be inconsistency. How do you work against that? I mean, in what ways can you achieve consistency? What kind of things can you tell?
It's a delicate balance when you need consistency out of young players, because they don't have enough experience, so they haven't quite built the confidence always that to believe you that if they just do it that way, it works. And then if they don't do it well right away, maybe they don't know if they can do it right. So you just have to walk that fine line of building confidence, yet getting them the experience necessary to be good at what you're expecting.
How much of that, I mean, when you're trying to achieve consistency, I mean, has this become a Ty Webster discussion largely, that he can move those guys along, help?
Yeah, I think Ty can be a great leader that way. He's an empathetic person to start with, like when he leads, some guys lead from the front, the alpha, follow me, let's charge in there. Ty's more empowering than that. And he can tell his own story, where, he's had his struggles and he's done a heck of a job.
Talking about confidence, building confidence, has that been kind of the one thing you can put your finger on over these last couple of games that's maybe allowed you guys to turn the corner a little bit?
I don't know if it's confidence, or at least we just didn't quit. We didn't stop, we just stuck with what we do. So I think when you look at those things, that I'm happy and I'm proud of our guys. And you could see, in the locker room, they're gaining confidence, they're getting fired up. So I'm really excited about that part of them, that they're sticking with it, because it works.
How contagious can that be, learning to finish finished games like they have recently, you know, and your experiences, you know, how turning that corner and getting over that hump, how contagious can that be?
It can be very contagious. I don't think there's any question, you know. It's all contagious, you know. It's like winning is a virus in a good way. So can losing or missing free throws or threes or whatever. So we just have to ride the wave, but do enough and have the, you know, the habits, the daily habits that we need to be successful, locked in, and we can't deviate from that at all.
0 for 7 from 3 in the second half, missed 7 free throws. How were the guys able to turn the tide on offense in the second half and when the shots weren't falling?
Well, yeah, that's a good point because we were getting to the foul line, and that's what I felt good about, just the fact that we were getting there. And, you know, they got up 12 or 13 so quickly. It seemed like it happened, you know, they had the 2 4-point plays and, you know, and so I was too busy yelling at the freshmen to really realize we got down that quick, that fast. And then I'm like, oh boy, you know, we're going to have to maybe press or zone or do something. But we started getting the foul line with about 8 minutes or something like that. We weren't making them always, but we were getting there. And usually that's a good sign of aggression, you know, and the aggressor wins. So I felt confident about that, even though they weren't going in. I didn't realize we didn't make a three, you know, probably because I've been rationed or what's Pavlov's law? I've been conditioned to seeing us not make threes.
Hey, Tim, you know, after the first 12 games and having the what happened with your last 2 home games here, what did you think was possible when you guys did open with those first 2 road games?
First of all, I'm not going to apologize for Southern. I thought we played pretty good, and when you're in a slump, it's not easy to get out of it. And they banked in like 3 threes, and they're a pretty good team in their own league, and they know how to win. And so even though we only won by X amount of points, I don't care. Like, I expected their last half quarter to go in. So it was just one of those nights that way. So I felt like we had progress that day. I really did. And that fed into a good Christmas coming back. Then Anton gets hurt. And that really shook the team. And really, quite frankly, it was kind of a, you know, going to Indiana, I think the guys were a little bit down almost, you know, because of Anton, you know, in terms of, oh, geez, this is a bad thing for him, because you could tell immediately it was a severe injury. But at the same time, we'd had good hard practices. So they came out, played good and hard, and good things happened.
If you had been told that you were going to go 2-0 in those road games, would you believed it knowing what you knew going into them?
Would I have taken it or believed it? Those two, no. I mean, quite frankly, I told the guys before I said, now we got to get a split. We can get a split. And quite frankly, I was thinking we could beat Maryland. And now I didn't realize they'd only lost 1 game at home in their Big Ten seasons, but I just felt like that was a better matchup for us. And then we went out and beat Indiana, so I had to change my mind. So, you know.
You guys have had a lot of warm air blowing your way this week and hats on.
I haven't read any. I'm not on Twitter, my man. So.
You on Andy Katz yesterday, so.
But that doesn't mean I'm reading anything.
I know. But have you had to reel your players in at all, or they?
I haven't noticed anything, you know. They want to win. They want to do well. So I don't think that they think they're anything other than what they are. We are who they thought they were.
Isn't that though kind of a concern for a coach though? When
Always, yeah. I don't care who you are with young people. You know, you worry about losing too much. You worry about winning too much. Your job, you get paid to worry. You know, you live in fear, worry, and doubt, but being raised Catholic, it's fine.
Hey,
Yeah, guilt, yeah.
Hey, at Kansas and at Indiana, it kind of seemed like attacking the bucket was an emphasis. Have you kind of told your guards that you'd rather them get to the bucket rather than pull up if it's open? Like,
Well, I tell Ty I want him to build his game from the inside out. I don't tell Glenn much. Let him do his deal. Just try and get him the ball in the right spots. What we need to do is run more. We have to drink from the cup of easy baskets, and transition is one of those. You had a question back there.
You mentioned you're still on Twitter. Is that going to change anytime soon, or?
I doubt it.
Any withdrawal from being off of that?
Yeah, I had, but I'm bounced back. Yeah, I kept knocking my head against the wall, and I missed.
Are there
Steven.
Is there certain guys you look to for leadership besides Ty?
Yeah, you know, Michael Jacobson has really been a strong voice. Edwards voiced himself more. And that's really good to see. Evan Taylor has some juice with these guys too. You can tell. And they all are saying the right things. And when you get a team and you're all kind of speaking the same language, you feel good. And that's happening often. Not that we don't get frustrated and not that, you know, we're not prone to issues or problems or long lapses of offense or whatever it might be. But if we can stay together and keep doing what we do, which is sound defense and smart offense, we can be okay.
Is you encouraging them to run a little bit more? Is that a departure for you at all?
No.
That you've done that?
No, it's not. I mean, we try and run, but I usually try and run off our defense and you know, a turnover or a quick shot. And now, no matter what, we're just trying to get them to will to run. You always need to run, but our best teams have been our slowest teams, so to speak, quote unquote, when we're talking about tempo. But at the same time, we need baskets, so we need to run.
About
Is your
simplifying.
tempo helping with Jacobson and Morrow? They're more
Well,
complimentary
I think-
each other lately?
I don't know if it's a tempo. I think it's just gaining the experience they needed at their own positions. You know,
Complimenting each other in a way. They're both getting up their rebounds. past
Yeah.
the game.
that's their job. They're finally doing their damn job. What was the question over here?
You've talked about simplifying the offense. What does that mean without giving away?
Yeah,
any
I
trade
took my
secrets?
playbook, and I took these 11 actions and put them in the trash, right? And so I left these 11. So now we're more predictable, but we also run our stuff with better pace because we're, you know, running things more often. You know, like, so instead of running, you know, the picket fence twice, we'll run it 6 times, you know? And so you'd think if you're going to run the picket fence 6 times, that's hard for me to say right now. Yeah. That, you know, eventually you're going to run it right and run it well, right? So, but you really don't have many counters to the old picket fence either. Just can't get caught watching the paint dry.
What kind of matchup does Iowa present to you guys?
Well, they're fast. They're young too. They've got good young talent. I'm really impressed with them. And is that somebody here? Oh, okay. I'm really impressed with Iowa, and they're as fast as Creighton, you know, in terms of tempo. And Peter Jock could lead the league in scoring easy. He might be one of the top 5 or 10 in the country. I don't even know, but he's a threat all the time. Tyler Cook's an explosive inside player, and Bohannon's getting better. Ellingson's shooting the ball well. They've got a lot of guys that can hurt you. Nicholas Bear's the epitome of a Gator guy. I mean, ultimate, you know, Mr. Hustle. And, you know, Friend's got a lot of pieces, plays 10 guys. And so they just keep coming and running at you. And then Friend's got a grid system. You know, it changes. Out of bounds play is different from their made free throw, and they're going to press you some, and they're going to switch up from press to man, press to zone. So kind of get you off kilter a little bit. So we'll you know, our adjustments and how we adjust will be really important.
Anticipate sticking with the zone?
Them or us?
You.
You want the game plan?
No. I just said that 1-3-1 was the first time you used that basically. I thought,
No, I used it one possession of Indiana. Well, you said the first time, so you're a liar.
do you anticipate that being more of a part of your defense? 'Cause I know
You know, I have practiced triangle and 2 since you want the game plan. I've practiced 2-3, triangle and 2, 2-3, triangle and 2, box and 1, 1-3-1, and 1-2-2. So I would say our opponents need to be ready for any kind of zone.
Against Maryland, were you just kind of waiting for the right time for that, or is that
Well, we knew we had to go to it. We had to quit because we couldn't foul. I mean, we just had to stop fouling, and we had to protect some of our guys in foul trouble. So I thought that might be a good way to do it. And I was just, you know, you want to wait as long as possible, and we did. And when we did, it worked. So we were lucky.
Since you're giving away the game plan, how do you slow down a guy like Peter Jock? Could you do anything special with this guy that can score like
Well,
that?
I think your whole team has to. You know, I mean, the way he uses screens, the way he gets down in transition, he's really a good player. And he can shoot with a millimeter of space. So those are all, you know, things that you have to watch. And so it's going to take everybody.
This matchup with Iowa, you know, they've had a little string of success against you guys. Does that motivate some of these older guys?
Motivate, yeah. Yeah. Last thing I need is another Creighton on my hands. I'm not joking. I mean, I wish I was. Anything else?
You play golf with Fran?
No, I don't know if he plays. So forget about. We have a common friend in Scott Barber, the guy that makes the sweater, the Argyle sweater that I wear, Coaches versus Cancer, that people can buy, and all the proceeds go to Coaches versus Cancer. You know, that great red and white throwback. So Scott Barber is a clothes designer in Fort Collins, who's a friend of mine, and his sister is Fran's next door neighbor. Although Fran got a new contract and moved up on the hill now. You know, Snob Hill apparently. I'm kidding.
Anything else for Coach?
Thanks.